All right, welcome back to Mostly Sports, Mike and Jade. It's time for our weekly fireside gambling chat.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day.
No way.
I'll give you 3-1 odds.
No.
5-1.
No.
10-1.
You're on.
I'm gonna get you. I don't know how, but I'm gonna get you. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Classic movie, classic
Amazing.
scene, Dumb and Dumber. Hysterical. All right, so I know there's no honor among thieves. We're going to talk a little gambling right now, some controversy with your boy, Phil Ivey.
You want to break it down?
Go ahead, get it started.
So basically, Phil Ivey, I'm sure anybody the World Series of Poker has watched on ESPN, featured prominently for the last 10 years. Notorious gambler, crap player, baccarat, anything. Gambles real high. So he went into, I don't know how he found this out, but he found out there's a card maker that he found imperfections in the cards they were making. And he was able to finagle through negotiations with these casinos, with the Borgata and one in Monte Carlo, to have these cards used for his games of baccarat. All right, and he also demanded that they have a what's that, like a shuffler?
Yeah. Personal shuffler.
Personal shuffler or whatever, like a automated shuffler, and have a dealer that only spoke Mandarin Chinese because his partner, this woman, spoke Mandarin Chinese. So he had all these, parameters set up. The casinos agreed to it, and he proceeded to win close to $20 million off these two casinos. And the one casino in Monte Carlo, I think, refused to pay him, so he's kind of suing them to get his money. And the Borgata in Atlantic City paid him, and now they're suing to get the money back. Question is, I guess it's a moral argument, right? I mean, is he wrong? I would say that almost anybody I know would say he is absolutely not wrong. The casino makes a living. Those casinos are made off like edging all. It's called edge sorting, what he did. And, God bless him. He's a hero.
I agree with you. I gamble. I love playing cards, as do you. I totally agree with this. If you feel the opposite, call us. I got to read a great quote here from an unnamed person who is also a gambler. If you think about the casino, inherently they're offering a rigged game that they know they're going to win, and they create the illusion that you can win at it. They try to sucker people into playing. My disdain for the casinos has probably diminished or wavered over time, but I do believe most people who are professional gamblers think that all is fair in love and war. I think that's a great way to put it.
Absolutely. I mean, we go into, like, anytime we go to Vegas or AC or we gamble, I mean, we know we're at a disadvantage. And we willingly do it, knowingly do it,
right.
And we enjoy it.
And it's a billion dollar industry.
Billion, God bless. But here's the point. They are opening themselves up. Some people are smarter and are able to figure out ways. Like, why wouldn't he use this advantage? If the casino is going to agree, to all these demands that he made, and then they lose, that's not good PR. Everybody's going to go to the casinos regardless. I mean, it's not like, oh, the casinos aren't good people, I don't want to go now. We know that already. But hearing them cry and trying to get this money back it's pretty comical, to be honest with you.
It blows my mind that they allow. First of all, it's one of the main casinos is the Borgata in Atlantic City.
Beautiful casino.
Which is number one far and away. There is no 2, 3, 4 in casinos. So when these big poker players, these huge gamblers play, that's where they're going. That's the place to be seen and all that and keep their image going. I don't understand why the Borgata has to make such extreme concessions for someone like a Phil Ivey. I understand they see the money.
Yeah, but he'll take his business elsewhere. It's not like he's just stuck in AC.
I don't know if he would. In Vegas, I could see that.
I mean, he's from New Jersey, and that's where he made his bones growing up, as a poker player was AC. But, he'll just get on a plane and fly somewhere else that will give him, those concessions that he wants. I mean, he was in Monte Carlo, obviously. Now he's basically just going where they're going to give him these things. And I think what was the way that the game, he figured out the edges was they had a 1% advantage, the casino, if the game is played straight up. But with this edge sorting that he did, he then had a 6% advantage over the house. That's huge.
Huge.
And
because the casino won't go anywhere near the 50-50.
No, absolutely not. And they knew by giving him a couple of these things that they were bringing their advantage down a little bit, and they were fine with it because he was going to wager so high that, they were trying to recoup some money that they had lost to him before. But, these are all things that were supplied by the casino. It wasn't like he brought them in. It was like, here, use this deck of cards.
Right.
Or use this automatic shuffler. They provided all this stuff. They are 100% to blame. I would be very interested to hear somebody call up or read or send me an article that takes the side of the casino, because I don't. This one seems pretty obvious to me.
I don't see how somebody could take the side of the casino, because, I mean, like this guy said, all's fair in love and war. And for anyone who's played sports, there's that old moniker, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's right.
Now, the question that I have is, where is that line drawn?
It's not cheating, though. It's just it's not like he
cheating.
can see what the card is. He doesn't have X-ray vision. But yeah, he's got a
But
little
if the casino,
advantage.
if the casino can't see that, I'd say it's 100% fair game.
Yeah, I mean, these casinos, they have guys in charge making $1 million decisions daily. You're telling me that Phil Ivey sits down and all of a sudden he's up $8 million and you can't sniff that something may be wrong here, especially after he just won $12 million over in Monte Carlo.
And there's eyes on him nonstop when he's in the casino.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's not even like a discussion between you and I. We agree 100%, but it's just an interesting story, and it's nice to see the casinos take a little bath, even though we don't get any of those dollars that he won. It's nice to see some justice prevail.
Now, equating this to everything else in sports, the whole ethics of it. I know in baseball, there's so many unwritten rules in baseball that even as a baseball fan, it makes you sick.
Yeah.
Catchers throw up the signs for the pitchers to see. Fastball, curveball, changeup, whatever. If there's a runner on second base who could see directly into the lap of the catcher, the manager will say, or the catcher will come out to the pitcher and say, use the fourth signal as which pitch I'm talking about. Okay? Or there's an indicator, when I put down a 2, then the next number is what you're going to throw.
That's part of the clandestine espionage, like entertainment of baseball. A guy standing on the third baseline, like basically molesting himself.
Yeah.
To tell a guy to take a pitch.
To take a pitch or to lay down a bunt or something like that. I see absolutely nothing wrong with if somebody has a tell, we're talking about cards and poker, somebody has a tell, there's no reason to not take full advantage of that. And it drives me crazy when these people get all, butthurt about somebody stealing their signs. Maybe we're doing a good enough job putting down the signs. Okay? It drives me crazy. If you see a pitcher who tips his hat or something or tips his pitch, that's not cheating. That's part of the game. But if you see somebody giving a sign saying, throw over to first this pitch, then it's cheating. It drives me crazy in baseball. Same thing with basketball. You call a timeout, everybody huddles up at the foul line. If Kevin Durant does a move and he starts listening into what they're saying, is that cheating?
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, we're in agreement, which is boring. But it's everybody's trying to get an edge. It's just a matter of who's getting caught and who's not. It's like the Patriots and their Spygate stuff. Everybody does that stuff. They just happen to get caught, and now it's I love hearing these people that come out. Well, they haven't won a Super Bowl since the Spygates. I mean, they didn't win because of that. I refuse to believe that. You still got to get on the field and play the sport.
That may have given them a tiny little bit of an edge.
Who wouldn't have taken that advantage?
Of course.
Yeah,
Nobody's in their office saying, we shouldn't do that. That's not right.
Yeah.
Real quick.
There's no room for morality in sports.
None
or
whatsoever.
Gambling.
Right now, not the deal on the table, what everyone's talking about is Warriors doing David Lee and Harrison Barnes for Kevin Love. Also, Houston has players to trade. Boston and Phoenix have loads of picks. So this is going to be interesting. We're going to be sick of it. Probably, actually, we already are.
Yeah, I'm over Kevin Love. I mean, the draft has to happen first. We kind of know how we got back on that, but yeah, I mean, when the draft happens, if the Lakers end up with like a top 3 pick, all of a sudden they might be in the conversation. But let's let the draft happen first. The draft lottery, all that stuff's got to play out, and NBA is a 12-year or 12-month-a-year sport now. I mean, there's a lot to talk about.
Everything is.
Yeah, NFL.
Now, what are your thoughts on the NBA doing a combine?
I mean, I'm a nerd, and I go to Summer League every year in Vegas. I love all that stuff. If you're not completely in love with the NBA, I can see how it's very boring to watch. I mean, I watched it, but like I said, I mean, I'm into all that stuff. But you don't really learn anything by watching the combine, except if you saw. And did you see Andrew Wiggins' pick on Instagram?
I didn't. I don't follow him yet.
On his it was all over the web. So he did like the standing vertical. It looked photoshopped.
Oh, I did see that picture.
Did you see that?
I
Dude,
did see that.
That was insane. I feel like I could add up all of my jumping in my entire life, and I still have never jumped that high.
That picture is unbelievable. It looks like he almost clears the frame, but it looks like the little slides which you have to hit to get your vertical. It looks like he's at the top of the apparatus. It's unbelievable.
A very cool picture if you haven't seen it. I mean, that kid is a freak, and it's funny. Something like that, I could totally see being the factor that maybe pushes him over, like Jabari Parker, or Joel Embiid, or something like that. Like little things like that. Like we talk about the public opinion. GMs, what GM's number one job is to do what? A GM's number one job in any professional sport.
Put together a hell of a team.
I would argue that a GM's number one job is to keep their job. GMs always are making decisions based on how can I keep my job a little bit longer. And I firmly believe they don't always make the right choice because they know they'll get skewed in the media. And if it fails, then they may not get another job. So they want to do – so, like, if you take, like, the Greg Oden, Kevin Durant thing. Like, everybody said take Greg Oden. So they take Greg Oden because – if Greg Oden flops, then the general manager can just be like, well, everybody said to do it, and then you don't look so bad. So, but Wiggins will probably be the number one pick. He seems like he's, Jabari Parker's apparently 20 pounds overweight. He's gained 20 pounds since the season ended. I mean, he was
How
already.
is that possible for a
dude? He lives in Chicago, man. There's
Good pizza.
There's a lot of good food over there.
No Del Tacos for you though.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, he got knocked out of the tournament in March. He doesn't play summer league until July.
Yeah,
I mean that's a lot of time. He's already a big kid. So, look for Wiggins to go number one.
See, I don't see that out of this combine. I have no problem with these guys sitting out of the combine. It's going to do nothing but hurt them. They're going to be the 1, 2, and 3 picks, no matter who trades up or trades away picks. I think it does nothing but hurt them. I think that the fact that there is a combine, it drives me crazy.
It's just the NBA trying to, image the NFL and create something.
Oh yeah, because the NFL's doing it right.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, the NFL. But the NFL combine actually has legitimate skill tests that equate to playing the sport of football. These things that they do at the NBA draft combine have nothing to do with actually playing the game of basketball. So,
yeah,
that's my take. But if you're a geek, it's fun to watch, and I would love to be there. I mean, I was talking to a buddy, and I was like, it's very weird that I would much rather be at the NBA combine than like be invited to the Playboy Mansion. That's bad. I mean, I hate to admit it, but
no, but you're a football, and that's what we're gonna do.
I'm getting old.
We're gonna head out to Vegas this summer and do some
a lot more fun to me.
We're gonna do some NBA stuff at the D League camps and all that stuff. We're going to get out there for sure. All right, coming up for the first time. Let's do it. We got the Lazy Man's movie review.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
All right, this is a great show. If we're doing the Lazy Man's movie review and the Non-Foodies food review in the same show.
A lot of reviewing.
I'd
food
listen to
and
us.
movies we haven't seen.
Now we got to say, Lazy Man's movie review. Please note the opinions expressed in this review are not based on the host actually seeing said film. It's strictly based on their knowledge of sports and watching a lot of movies and how predictable they think Hollywood has become. With that being said, coming out this past week, $1 Million Arm.
$1 Million Arm. I have no plans to see this movie until it pops up on HBO or whatever. So.
Oh, I don't even know if I'll watch it then.
Yeah, I mean, John Hamm's great. He's cool, but other than that, it's just, I think that's why we came up with this little segment because it was a pretty predictable movie to figure out.
Absolutely. And we're going to be doing this when there's sports. We're not going to be doing, Spider-Man 8 or whatever they're talking about. We're going to be doing sports-related movies. Those, big
So start your review. $1 Million Arm.
$1 Million Arm. It made 10.5 this weekend. Godzilla won the box office with $93 million. Cost $25 million to make.
Stars Mad Men guy.
Mad Men guy John Hamm.
Going through, I'm imagining some sort of life crisis. His career is coming to an end. I'm picturing a scene in the movie where he's reflecting, either running in the rain, or he's like
a tight white T-shirt,
or he's like at home with like a huge glass of scotch, sitting in the dark with his dog on his lap, just trying to figure out how to resurrect his life, self-loathing, blah 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 blah. That would be like probably the first 20 minutes of the movie.
I think something happens. I mean, obviously, something drastic needs to happen in the first 20 minutes for him to go to India and look for the next big thing.
Well, I imagine the first 20 minutes he loses a client or two.
It's going to be very similar to Jerry Maguire losing Cush at the beginning, night before the draft, something along that. Bob Sugar comes in, sweeps him up from one of the big corporations.
Apparently,
Bill
Simmons plays the Cush or the Bob Sugar.
The Bob Sugar?
Yeah.
I love Bill Simmons.
He's
I
the
love Bill
executive
Simmons.
producer of that movie, actually.
Now, this is based on a true story. Now, Disney made this. I think they're totally trying to just get Bollywood involved and, put the numbers up because they're getting smoked by every other animated studio.
I mean, who doesn't love Disney movies? So then, all right. So then, like, what?
So something happens. He's going to lose his big client.
Epiphanical I don't even know if that's a word. Moment. So what's he doing? Is he sitting there watching TV and like Nat Geo's on and there's like giraffes walking across India, and they make a comment about there being 1 billion people there?
I think, to be honest, I think it's going to be something along the lines of like a reality show that's on in the background. And he's got, maybe a bottle of Jack Daniels, a bottle of Jameson, and a bottle of Johnny Walker.
Ooh, wait, he could be watching like Slumdog Millionaire.
Something like that. Something
And he's
exactly like that.
God damn, there's a lot of freaking people over there.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be able to throw-
somebody
yeah.
who can get me back into the game because he's become the joke of
Yes,
the
that's what
agency
happens.
world.
That's what I think happens.
Yeah,
right
I
there.
think we're
Late
pretty
night,
much dead on with that.
in the dark, Slumdog Millionaire off, like the sound isn't on, and he's just laying there, hair all
It's
over
in
the
the
place,
background,
little
yeah.
buzz, and like all of a sudden, boom, it hits him.
Maybe some Del Taco wrappers on the table.
We can only dream.
Jesus.
But then we go into the straight, like the thing they always love to do, the fish out of water. Who doesn't love the fish out of water scene in any movie? Take a dude, boom, all of a sudden he's in like some Jeep in India, people everywhere, things on their heads.
Smile
and,
on his face.
like, yeah.
Now keep in mind, everybody, we have not seen this movie. We're
Not
going
seen
off of strictly just trailers.
But this is, I'm pretty like 80% sure this is exactly what happens. In
I'm
the
like
movie.
90%.
Okay, there you
We've
go.
seen enough of this.
I agree.
Crap. So he has that moment, and now that the conflict has happened, he got fired or whatever.
His
then he has that
girlfriend almost
epiphany
left
moment.
him. His girlfriend definitely almost left him.
Oh, she definitely left him.
Yeah, she
That's
may
it.
have already left.
He
him,
might have been
actually.
close to proposing. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe his number one pick has, that's going to be the financial stability he needs to get a ring and propose to his
He wears
fiancée.
the ring around his neck on a chain to remind him of his failure. Is that too
bold.
much?
No, that could. I mean, if you nail
That's-
that's a bold
Okay.
bold prediction.
And like
I love it,
occasionally he
though.
just touches his chest when he's having
And it
like a
reminds
tough
him.
moment, and he gathers himself.
Now you have that controversy. You have that epiphany moment. What does that be? Epiphical?
I
Epiphany?
invented a word.
Yeah, you have that epiphical moment.
Epiphical. Yeah,
That sounds good. And then you're right. You see him driving in a topless Jeep in
Mumbai,
in India, wherever
Yeah.
the hell he chose to go. And then the struggle is going to start again.
You think so? I think
Yeah.
he's at the Taj Mahal, and they have like a batting cage.
People are throwing around.
And there's
back.
just like, think of the worst line you've ever seen in your entire, like in an Apple store. Like anytime like a new device comes out, you're always like, God damn, that line is freaking long. This line is like miles long.
like if Del Taco was just giving away burgers.
People don't have people don't have shoes on. People are just like, they have no clue.
Oh, it's going to be the worst of the worst. Yeah.
So it's like dual fish out of water because he's in India, but these Indian people are like, what's this ball? So it's like people just trying to figure themselves out, like worlds colliding.
Now I do another thing is I did read one thing, cricket. So obviously he's going to do
That's
something.
what he was watching. He was watching cricket. All right, I take the Slumdog Millionaire part back. He was
No,
watching.
I like the Slumdog thing.
I do
That's
too, but he was probably watching like Fox Sports 11, some late night cricket,
the Ocho.
the Ocho, and okay, yeah, that's what it was.
And he's going to try and be the guy to bring somebody over.
yeah.
Now this is based on a true story. Let's go to the end. How does if you know the story, which a lot of people do, it's not
Yeah.
a tough prediction. But what's the
Well-
happy ending? It's a Disney movie.
Well, I think
It's
everybody
gotta
knows
be a
the
happy
story
ending.
because there's no Indian guys lighting up, Major League Baseball right
But
now.
if you even know that, then you know
Yeah.
the story. If you don't know, there might be an Indian guy playing baseball. You don't know.
yeah.
You have no clue. But this is a Disney movie, so there's going to be a happy ending. What's the
Mm-hmm.
happy ending?
Happy ending is like he renews his faith in his career, and he recommits and establishes his connection with his ex-wife or his mom or somebody that he had an attachment from, forms a bond with these two Indian guys.
Oh, of course.
Guaranteed that he brings back. They might not make it, but they've come to America and they're feeling great. Everybody's just feeling great, man. It's a Disney movie.
It's a feel-good movie, of
Yeah,
course.
and then there's like some well-placed Pirates of the Caribbean 5 posters probably in the background somewhere by Disney because they're genius, and fade to black.
Fade to black.
That's,
Now we got two things. Beep Dave Beth just wrote in saying my son saw the movie on Friday. Beth, if your son has seen the movie, have him give us a call. We'd like to hear how close we are with our predictions. And Bill Gorin from Austin, Texas, said this movie is this generation's Cool Runnings.
Oh,
I think that's a great prediction. I mean, that's a great comparison.
R.I.P. John Candy. John Hamm is cool, but he is no John Candy.
This is great. I agree. I mean, the story ends. The two guys, one of them gets hurt. And for those of you who haven't seen the movie, I don't think I'm giving away anything away in the movie. They might have totally rewritten the ending to make it the happy ending. But it's, I mean, a very, very good reflection on how difficult it is to make it in pro baseball. Two guys came over. One of them got hurt. Zach Heindel is all over this board. I'm not going to say what he said.
Zach, you got to call in, buddy. I know you have a good take on all this stuff.
One of the guys got hurt. His career's over. The other one, I believe, is still in the minors in the Double-A, I believe, with the Pirates organization, trying to make it, but it's tough. I have a bunch of buddies in the minors, and
this is a little tangential, but it's on the same lines. All right, it makes sense. Like with the World Cup coming up. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to use like the United States.
We're doing everything. We got
the
tennis.
The United States is a large place. Okay, why in God's name can we not, like, we have to go to Germany and all these other countries and poach these kids that like are like a quarter American that have like, and we put them on our net. Why can we not find like 20 dudes and be better at soccer? I don't understand. Like India has all those people. I agree. Go to India. Cultivate it. That's the next great place to go to find athletes. There's a freaking ton of people there. Teach them how to play a sport. How come America sucks so bad at soccer?
This is a great question that we are not going to answer now because when we do our quick French Open preview with our buddy G, he's going to answer that question because tennis is so similar.
Yeah, how come we suck?
And I'm going to give a quick. I'm going to give my very quick answer. The reason why is because Americans, we are so ADD. When I was a kid, and this is the funny part, growing up 80s. We all played soccer. Every single American kid in the 80s grew up playing soccer. That's the first thing you could do. You don't need to use your hands. It's pretty simple. None of my friends kept playing soccer. I didn't know many soccer guys in high school. I didn't know any soccer guys in college.
Could you imagine?
We all go all over the place. Same thing with tennis. I was so ADD as a kid.
Yeah.
I was a great tennis player. I was good a lot of things. But if I'm playing basketball and all of a sudden, my buddies are throwing a football, I'm going to go play football. What those girls are watching the guys play baseball? That's what I'm doing. That's the way it is in America.
Would DeAndre Jordan not be the greatest goalie in the history of the sport of soccer? I mean, give me – how could any ball get by that guy? I mean, LeBron James at, like, center forward. It would be fun to, like, think about that. Like
I'd love to see LeBron playing anything else.
Allen Iverson would be, like, the Lionel Messi of that sport. He would have been incredible.
I wonder if, like, Iverson ever, growing up the way he did, I wonder if he ever played a little bit of soccer.
I'm sure. Like you said, like, every little kid, like, soccer is – even for the last 30, 40 years. Obviously now it's way bigger in this country, but everybody like played soccer as a little kid growing up. But then you get bored. Then you go on to the sports that like our country created. Basketball, baseball, football. We're only good at sports we created. And that's kind of narcissistic and selfish. Yeah. Let's branch out, Americans. Let's be better at other sports.
Talking to the youth of today?
I am. Just talking to anybody out there, man.
Talking to little Avery Scavatti?
I'm fired up for the World Cup. I would just like to see us make a half-decent showing. So... 5 minutes left. What do you?
I would love to make all. I mean, we're in the group of death, the United States.
We are Portugal. Portugal.
We got Ghana, who's probably our easiest matchup.
No, Ghana's knocked us out of the last two World Cups.
Yeah, and then we got Germany and Portugal,
Germany's
who are
tough.
ranked like third and fourth. Now we are going to do a little World Cup preview coming up as we get a little bit closer. But again, another disclaimer: I don't know much about soccer beyond our group, and I need to look it up every time because I always forget about Portugal.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much the extent of our soccer knowledge, so we're going to need to read up on that. We're going to get some good UFC stuff coming up, or MMA. When we got the big fights, who the mainstream might know.
Is there such a thing as good UFC stuff?
No, I'm not too into it, but, I mean, it's becoming a juggernaut. It's getting the ratings. It's all over the place. There's a fight every week. There are a few smaller names or bigger names who I know, and I think most of the non-followers will know. I have a couple, UFC guys who, work. I keep saying UFC, but it's now MMA. I have some guys who work at MMA, who work at UFC, who work, Bellator, all that stuff.
How old are these guys? Out of curiosity.
They're 20s.
20. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an age demographic thing.
It's an age
people
thing.
Our age are boxing people, and younger people.
I don't know if I want to get grouped into that boxing.
Either. I mean, it's not like you and I are like going to the Friday night fights down the street, but at the same time, we grew up in an era where we got to see, like, Mike Tyson was on ABC television.
Yeah.
Like, there was great fights. There was Sugar Ray and Marvin Hagler, and Tommy Hearns. You can go on and on and on. And heavyweights actually existed. Like boxing was like kind of cool. I mean, those Rocky movies were gigantic.
Yeah.
So, the MMA thing is...
Mike Tyson, one of the best sound bites ever.
I can't get into it. It's human cockfighting. I would like to be persuaded otherwise, but...
I'm the most brutal and Michigan, most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their claw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Wow.
Best soundbite from Mike Tyson.
No MMA guy is that eloquent.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's why boxing is
you
fantastic.
got a little Floyd Money Mayweather now in boxing. But again, we're going to talk about all this stuff. As uncomfortable as we are talking about some of these topics that we don't know a lot about, we're going to cover them. We're going to at least give you 5 minutes on whatever topic you may want.
Like you and sampler platters. I feel like we're going to bring you around and we're going to make you embrace a sampler platter. That's my goal.
You're going to bring a sampler platter in here?
To get you to watch Game of Thrones. And to get you to eat a sampler platter are my 2 goals for the upcoming next 3 months.
Now, what do we got next week? We need to do a little teaser for. I think we got to do another fast food thing.
Yeah, I mean the KFC Double Down.
Oh, we should have done the comparison with the KFC Double Down versus the breakfast.
We can stretch it out next week. Everybody can get out there and try one, or
for those who don't know,
or just send us something right in our Facebook wall, or tweet at us, and we'll ruin our bodies to try all this food for you. That's
on a Monday
we're
morning.
Here.
That's no problem.
Yeah, I mean, nothing says Monday morning like a KFC Double Down or a Big Mac.
We're gonna do
Buy one, get one free after midnight now, or 9 o'clock at McDonald's.
Wait, what? Are you gonna? I haven't had a Big Mac. Big Mac's horrible. That bread in the middle's got to go.
When I leave work, all right, on my way to the 10, I call it the Golden Triangle. All right, I pass KFC, Burger King, and McDonald's all in a row right next to each other. And it's always I get anxiety. My palms get sweaty as I pull up because I try and just force myself to not stop at one of them. So McDonald's wins most of the time if I do stop because their dollar menu is amazing. Mm-hmm. But they have the Big Mac, the buy one get one free now, and they do Egg McMuffins after midnight. And I leave work obviously after midnight because I bartend. It's it's tough, man. That fast food just calls you. It's like a siren, like mermaids. Or mermans, whatever your preference is. It's all good.
Well, down the road, we are definitely going to sample a lot of these things. We're going to do a blind burger test coming up, in a couple of weeks and all that stuff.
And then we're going to check our cholesterol.
Yeah, we're gonna weigh ourselves before each show. All right, and I got to tell everybody who's writing on this message board and sending us texts and all that stuff, you guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for listening and keeping this going. I've never seen this much action on the board before. And one thing I did forget is we need to thank our sponsor. Mostly Sports is brought to you by the Westside Tennis Academy. You want to take your game to the next level? Call the professionals at the Westside Tennis Academy. They'll take you where you want to go and then some. All ability levels welcome. For more information, tweet to at mostly M&J for more information to get out there, play some tennis. Summer's coming up. Got to get in shape. That's a fun way to get some exercise and become better at tennis. And thank you to Westside Tennis Academy for sponsoring our show.
Thank you to Brendan for another great job.
Yeah. And
engineer extraordinaire.
The one thing I know I said thank you to everybody on the message board before, but you got to grow some cojones and call us up next week. I appreciate all the writing.
The little crank call earlier. They called up with the 619 San Diego area code and then hung up.
Yeah. Couldn't have been the wrong number. Again, brought to the Mostly Sports, brought to you by Westside Tennis Academy. I am Mike Scavati. Follow me at Mike Scavati. Get the show at Mostly M&J on Twitter. And Jay is at JFDev76. We are done for this week. We are doing a show next week, Memorial Day. So we will see you next week. Get us on iTunes. Sorry, that's most important.
Yeah.
iTunes,
download
YouTube.
The iTunes podcast app, and it'll be on there. Mostly Sports with Mike and Jay.
That's a lot of information. I don't even know if I remember that.
No, I forgot it as soon as I said it, but that's why we're on tape. You can just rewind it.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
Thanks again for the listeners. We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye.